Mel Robbins.
From Mel Robbins.
Mel Robbins!
Mel Robbins. Mel Robbins.
With Mel Robbins.
Mel Robbins.
Mel Robbins went from a criminal defense lawyer.
Now it's Mel Robbins, a criminal defense attorney. Mel, you were there again, another compelling day.
100%. I mean, as you just heard everybody else talk about, John Good.
To rock bottom. Nearly $1 million in debt. And a struggling marriage. Paralyzing bedridden anxieties. And on top of that, she had a canceled talk show.
This was my rock bottom moment. When I was 41 years old, my husband and I found ourselves $800,000 in debt. And I lost my job. We had 3 kids under the age of 10, and I could not get out of bed. The alarm would ring, and it was like the anxiety was a gravity blanket. I would lay there like a human pot roast, marinating in my problems, my fears. Like, how are we going to get out of this?
But being the Mel Robbins that she is, she would not let that define her. Out of desperation, she ended up writing the book, The 5-Second Rule, which became one of the top bestsellers.
I'd start thinking about it, meaning I'm ruminating now.
Is this how the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 theory
Yes.
came about? Yes.
Yes. And so one night I got this idea. It's divine intervention. I was giving myself a pep talk. I don't know if you've ever gotten to a point in your life where things are really so low you're talking to yourself out loud.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a low moment.
That is.
And I'm like, that's it, Mel. Tomorrow morning, woman, it's a new you.
Yeah.
You know, you got to stop drinking so much. You got to stop screaming at your husband. You got to call your parents. You got to get a job. You got to get these kids on the bus. And by God, woman, when that alarm rings, you have got to get out of bed. You cannot hit that snooze button 6 times. And at that moment, a rocket ship launched across the television screen. And I was like, it's a sign from God.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
When that alarm rings, you're going to move so fast, you're not going to be in that bed when that anxiety hits.
And more recently, a new bestseller called The Let Them Theory, transforming her setbacks into a global movement of empowerment.
Hi, we're the Raw Parenting Podcast, growing as parents through real and deep conversations in order to raise healthier children.
In this episode of the Raw Parenting Podcast, we're going to be going over Mel Robbins' top 7 moments. These are involving parenting, personal growth, and just a few that'll get you through your day. Let's dive right in to tip number 1 on parenting.
I don't believe that you own your children, that you're in control of your children, that you are even above your children. I believe that parenting is one of the biggest responsibilities on the planet, because what you're doing is you're raising an individual. Yeah. The idea of parenting is not to raise people that live in this house for the rest of their lives and turn out to be carbon copies of me and my husband, Chris. The idea is to raise individuals that grow up having the capability to discover who they are, to make decisions, to think critically, to have opinions.
I think that this video is very empowering in the fact of you as a parent, it takes the pressure off, don't you think? In some sense, I think that, you guide your children. You don't dictate their lives. You don't choose their past for them. They get to choose it themselves. And I think that's so beautiful. I think that kids do need to learn who they are right from an early age, which is why you want to be there emotionally and get them to be emotionally regulated. Like, all those things are very important, which I feel like we have forgotten along the way. But I think it's very beautiful to know that we don't want to make carbon copies of ourselves. We don't want them to be who we wished we were when we were younger or in adulthood. Mm-hmm. So I just think that's really beautiful that she said those words. I feel like that to me just hurts my heart so much to know that, like, I'm going to have to go through this for the rest of my life.
And again, if you want the relationship that she has with her kids in 20 years, you have to connect with them first. And what does that mean?
I've really struggled with the fact of, like, your brain just kind of feels like it's in a jail cell, And then all of a sudden you get the password. Which I guess that'll lead us into video number 2.
Our relationship building was to get you to want to come and talk to me and Dad about important topics instead of going to your dipshit friends. And I always thought if you're 13, 14, 15, or 16, way better to talk through something you're thinking about or worried about or, wanting to try and all that stuff with adults who will listen to you than going to other 14, 15, or 16-year-olds that don't know what the hell they're doing.
I agree with that. And this was like sort of going to be my whole point about like why I also have such an open relationship with my parents, arguably too open. But
Definitely too open.
yeah, don't take notes from me. I turned out fine, sort of. But
TBD.
what I was going to say is you were just saying like it's so much better for kids at that age to like go to their parents who will listen to them rather than their dipshit friends. But like that's the issue, is that parents don't listen. And what I was going to say, my whole point is that there's a difference between like, I think that like my definition of listen as like you guys have defined what listen means to me. And it's like internalizing what we're saying. Like parents all around the world can just listen to their kid be like, I really want to go to this party tonight, like blah, 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 blah. Or like, can I please, like whatever it may be. Oh, I got too drunk at this party, or, oh, I slept with someone before I was ready. Like there's a difference between hearing what they're saying and actually listening and internalizing how it's making them feel. Like I feel like every time we told you guys something as kids, you would actually like empathize with us and hear us and internalize it. And in doing that, you were able to like loosen the reins a little bit and let us fuck up and let us fail and let us, and instead of being like, you're stupid, you're being punished, that was dumb, you were like, let's talk about it. How is it making you feel? Blah,
So
blah,
you're
blah.
saying in these conversations that we were having as you were growing up, you had that sense of feeling heard
Yes,
inside
yes.
of.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Oh.
My dad is bawling.
That's cool.
Oh, Dad. I hate when you cry. I really wasn't planning on this.
But no, totally. Like,
First of all, I really like this video because of the fact that she's doing it with her whole family. I feel like that's definitely something we would do. If we're lucky enough to have the podcast in 20 years, that's definitely what we do as well. And then secondly, this video, it's so real because like, Little Peanut, our oldest, is 3 years old. She's turning 4 very, very soon here. And she catches me in moments now where she tells me, Dad, you're not listening. And it's one of those things, like, I feel like it's so easily brushed off because you're just a kid, like, when am I going to listen to your thing about your little problems that you have, but it starts young. And if you don't catch yourself right away here, I feel like it could happen over the years and I just wouldn't even know about it. And she's trying to teach me those lessons now. And after this video, I really, really try to listen, even as small of a problem as she has. I really try to internalize it, as her daughter says. On the first video, we got 3 likes. The next video got 27 likes. And then the one after that, you guys killed it with 61 likes. So we're asking you a huge favor to help us break another record, and let's get over 61 likes. Thank you, and back to the video. One of her other biggest parenting advice is connection first, correction last.
Right.
And that itself is just so true. And again, if you want the relationship that she has with her kids in 20 years, you have to connect with them first. And what does that mean? It just means that, like, she's misbehaving. Well, why is that? What did she do? Like, are you not listening? Who's not listening? Who's doing what? Just really try to connect first, as she says.
So all of that said will lead us into video number 3.
This is the single most important question a parent could ever ask a child. Do you want my advice, or do you just want me to listen? For me personally, 9 times out of 10, if your kid comes to you with a problem, or they're upset about something, or they're just even talking about something, we're older, we have more life experience. So of course we just jump right in to the conversation and start solving and offering solutions and blah, 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 blah. And your kids don't want that. 99% of the time, they do not want my advice. They just want a safe place to come and air it out. When you say, do you want my advice, or you just want me to listen?
This video just sums up everything to be so simple, right? It's either advice or I'm listening. Which would you prefer? And obviously this is for older kids again, but it's a really good thing for us to have in our brains already for when those stages do come, because yeah, it's always, you're always so quick to jump to giving your advice because, yeah, you think, like she says, I'm older, I have more life experience, and I know exactly how to handle this situation. And again, that's not what the kids need. And she sums it up perfectly with that. Like, you need to get the option of advice or listening. And most of the time, 90% of the time, people just want to be heard, right? And I just think it's a really good reminder for people out there.
Yeah, and I agree with you. It's such a good reminder. And as parents, I feel like we just love our kids so much and that we don't want them to make mistakes like we did. I think that's another thing too.
And that's a typical generational thing, isn't it?
We just want to protect them. We know how much mistakes can cost sometimes, and we just love them so much that it's just like, don't do these mistakes. But there's a typical quote, right? Like, the person has to keep learning the same mistake until that person realizes it. It's not you that have to realize it for them. They themselves have to realize it.
I feel like that to me just hurts my heart so much to know that, like, I'm going to have to go through this for the rest of my life, seeing my kids being defeated in some sense. And that to me really questions, should I have kids? Because am I strong enough to handle something such as this?
Yeah.
And I've really doubted myself in a lot of those aspects because I'm constantly being challenged with these things. So
yeah, I think that's a hard one, and it's so much easier said to done to know that, like, like we went through all that, we turned out fine. It's just like it's all part of life.
It is.
As it is.
Yes.
But it's tough to really grasp that in. Mm-hmm. Speaking of parenting, I feel like another big struggle that a lot of people in today's generation really struggle with is our parents. And so let's dive into Mel's advice on that.
Your parents, they've likely not gone to therapy, nor do they want to. The issues that you see in their marriage that you wish you could change or make better, they've been there forever. They're not changing. They are who they are. They have the relationship they have. It's not your responsibility to do anything about it. And something that's helped me develop a level of acceptance and love with my folks is just saying to myself, they gave me everything they could based on their life experience. And they gave me the support that they had to give, and it was an amazing amount of support. Because people can only meet you as deeply as they've met themselves. They can only give you what they had to give, and neither one of them got any kind of emotional support from their parents. I mean, most of our parents, yours included, were never provided the emotional, physical, psychological support that they needed.
And you know what she says is, I feel like forgiving your parents is kind of the first step to adulthood. And I feel like I did that in my early 20s, and I no longer blame my mom for everything that's happened in my life. It's just, and like she says, they did the best they could. And so, yeah, it was a really freeing moment, because I feel like, just part of growing up, I feel like you have all these crutches that you can really grasp on as to why you're this and that. And letting go of my mom's kind of just letting go of that, the crutch of my mom has really, really propelled me. It was like really the first step to adulthood. So I 100% agree with this video.
You cannot control anybody but yourself. And the facts are that our parents, and if you haven't watched our Millennials Aren't Okay video, you definitely want to check that one out after this one. But we do talk a little bit about Gen Xers, and that's our parents. But it's just interesting to know. My mom has always said the same thing, right? Like, I did the best I could with what I had. You never really thought about those words until you actually need to apply it to your life, and you're like, okay, yeah, now like I finally get it, It's unfortunate that you have to go through certain things to actually finally get something. But yeah, just having that release of pressure on everybody does wonders for you, I think. Forgive your parents. And again, like for me, I have forgiven my parents as well. And it's not really about holding any anger towards them. It's about understanding and learning from what did happen and propelling yourself forward, like you said, right? And I think that that's just beautiful. It's a beautiful thing once you do realize that they did the best they could.
And ever since releasing the Let Them Theory book, I keep getting this question. Mel, I'm supposed to just let them disrespect me? I'm supposed to let them walk all over me? Absolutely not. When you say let them, you're not allowing anything. You're recognizing it. I'm going to say that again. This is very important. Every time you say, let them, you're not allowing disrespect and you're not allowing somebody to walk all over you. You are forcing yourself to recognize that they are disrespecting you and that they are walking all over you, and you can't change another person. So let them forces you to recognize who you're dealing with. Then you go to step 2 and say, let me. Let me choose how much time and energy I put into this. Let me decide if this behavior is acceptable. Let me decide if this is attractive. Let me decide if I deserve more, because you're not stuck in any job, any relationship.
Can I just say that, like, I love Mel's personality. I think she really shines, even when she's saying something like super serious, you know. And her little kisses at the end. I just think it's so sweet. I think that Mel is a very relatable individual. I will just say that. She is so sweet. And I think the fact that she hit rock bottom and had to work her way through, like, she wasn't just like a trust fund baby or anything like that and just like spitting out all this stuff. It's like she's real. She's a real human, and she has all of these actual life experiences to guide her into who she is today. And I just think that's so cool. So anyway, back to that video. So we all know this theory, right? Like, I think it's pretty cool because us as millennials, we are very quick to want instant gratification. What better instant gratification than this theory? So, for example, for me, I've really struggled with the fact of, like, your brain just kind of feels like it's in a jail cell, you know? And then all of a sudden you get the password to let yourself out. The gate just opens. And then you're like free, you know, like, wow, it's like a new world, new possibilities. And I think that that really helped me. And when I actually started to try and apply this, it takes a lot of work. It takes work, I will say that, to shift your brain, to stop thinking about stuff. That is one of the hardest things to do.
And don't forget to check out our Dr. Mate video where we went over his top moments as well.
But to just switch everything to 2 simple words, well, 4 actually, but 2 words of let them, it's just so freeing. My gosh, so freeing. And like I said, you just start to like think about other things and think about like, okay, what can I do? Because I can only control me. So if somebody's going to do something that I don't like, let them do it. But now how do I choose my steps forward? It's so simple and it's beautiful. And I love it.
Yeah. And you know what? Letting people go releases the anger that you have towards certain people. And when you release that anger, it's like a foggy day and the fog just goes away. You can really see the scenery now. And you can almost see, oh, okay, so our relationship is failing because of these things now. And not just because I'm so mad at them. That's all I can think about. But you can just see things more clearly, you know? Like she said, should I keep them around? Should I let them go? Like, that's all up to you, right? But releasing all of that anger, I'm sure it must be just beautiful. And, you know, the upcoming video, Mel talks about letting go, but also seeing everyone differently. And it kind of gives you less pressure on yourself of how you view people. So we'll jump on to the next video.
Every adult you see is just an 8-year-old in a big body. Mm-hmm. That's it. Because nobody actually knows how to be emotionally mature, because it's not something you're born with. It's a skill that you have to want to learn and that you have to practice. And none of our parents knew how to do it. So you didn't get it in your childhood. I don't care how calm and stoic you may be. Learning how to recognize your emotions and actually feel them and then understand how to process them in a calm manner without, like, again, taking it out on other people. That is a super, I didn't learn how to do this until I was 54.
Who wants to do that when I can just point fingers and talk shit about people?
You can, and then you're gonna die of a heart attack because you're chronically stressed out and you're gonna feel powerless in a world where you actually have a lot of power, and you're gonna miss out on a lot of your life because you have put all of the power over there, which is why it's pissing you off and why you're frustrated. And so I think that this has, in terms of the emotional immaturity, looking at somebody that's 8 years old, especially somebody that has like very challenging behavior, what happens is you don't fear people. You actually feel a level of compassion for them. Like if you look at somebody who is passive aggressive, that's a child who pouts.
Yeah, I absolutely love what she said about viewing people as 8-year-olds. It gives you more compassion towards the world. With angry people, and you see just, as the world we live in right now, this seems like homelessness is growing day by day, and it's just things are just getting worse and worse. But at the end of the day, if you just see everyone as a child and not the adults that the bodies they have, it really gives you more compassion towards people. Again, it just let go of all that anger and hatred you have towards somebody who may have wronged you, or just doing things that just like, why would you even do that? So yeah.
Just to lighten the mood a little bit, can you imagine talking to adults as if they were 8 years old?
Oh my gosh, they would be so happy.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you want to try that again? Now, lastly, Mel talks about 3 life lessons that everyone should learn. And I 100% agree with these, so let's dive right into them.
There are 3 lessons I learned this year, which was one of the hardest years of my life. And I want to share them with you because I don't want you to have to experience the hardest year of your life to learn these lessons. These lessons are so important. Lesson number 1, your life is always trying to teach you something. And it's moments of friction and discomfort that have the greatest lessons of all. And if you don't learn it, life is just going to get louder and louder, and eventually it's going to hit you with a sledgehammer because lessons repeat until you learn them. Lesson number 2 from the hardest year of my life. Your excuses are bullshit. Behind every excuse is fear. That's all that's there. So you can disappear any excuse and you can address any fear with action. And number 3, change is not easy. Change is very hard. That's why so many of us struggle with it. But even though change isn't easy, it is always worth it, and you're capable of it.
I feel like, man, I just feel like she could be like my cool aunt.
A cool person to have in my life. To have her as a mentor, man. Mel, can you be my mentor, please? I would love that. She is 100% correct, because I just had flashes of how many hard lessons I had to go through. And I remember being like, why am I still doing this? What is happening? And it's going through the same things over and over and over again until I finally learned the lesson. And I just think life is kind of cool that way, isn't it? Even though things have been so difficult in my life, like, I am very grateful for everything that has happened, because it all leads me to now, right? At the end of the day. And I love that she does say, though, that it will come back as hard as a sledgehammer and smack you in the head, right? Which is, yeah, pretty cool.
But you know what? Relate back to parenting. You know what? A lot of emotional, stable parents are doing now, again, is that we're letting kids feel, right? It's okay to feel things, but your actions are not welcomed. All feelings are welcome, but all behaviors are not.
But yeah, so that all encompasses that number 1 life lesson that she said about, lessons keep hitting you hard until you learn them. Anyways, and then number 2, her saying of excuses are all bullshit. And it's true, right? Like, we always have these excuses because we need to make people see us in a certain way or think differently about us. Or, if I was late, like, no excuses. I don't know if you've heard employers say that, like, I don't care about your excuses. The fact is you're late, right? And yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's an excuse. Right? But yeah, so I do really love that. And then obviously number 3, the life lesson is you can't change people. And change is very hard that you have to do within yourself. But man, is it worth it when you actually change something that you've hated about yourself, if that is an easy, nice way to put it. That sums up the top 7 best moments that we have loved with Mel.